Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Limited Thoughts podcast. I'm Felix, and I'm here with my co-host Eugene.
Hello, hello.
Our goal for this podcast is to focus on the bigger events or the higher stakes events on Arena, like the Arena Directs, the Sealed Draft Qualifier weekends, and the now exciting Arena Limited Championship qualifiers. Today, we're going to talk about Avatar, since there's a direct coming up this weekend. But I think we should first probably introduce ourselves. So, Eugene, who are you?
All right. I've been playing for a while, but over the past few years, I've started playing in the higher stake events on Arena, and I've been finding some success. I've cashed out $2,000 from an Arena Open. I've won probably over 100 boxes now in the Arena Directs, and I recently got a top 32 at a PTQ for Edge of Eternities a couple months ago. And what about you, Felix?
So I started playing the opens and the directs almost 2 years ago now. LCI was my first event, the LCI Arena Open, and since then I've cashed out $8,500 and won over 100 boxes as well. Um, I've listened to LR and Limited Level Ups for a long, long time now, and I think Alex Marshall and Luis were definitely inspirations for like trying recording a podcast episode.
Hmm.
Um, so last weekend there was the Neo Arena Direct, and did you have any takeaways?
So it's kind of surprising, but when I took a look, it looks like all of my trophies were strict two color decks, and I don't know if that's your experience because I know you love splashing, but um,
Uh, yeah.
yeah, and I don't know. I didn't really have any huge takeaways. It was mostly just kind of getting readjusted to the Neon Dynasty format. Um, I don't know. My decks were like mostly pretty similar to the ones I would draft. I think I felt like two drops were kind of important. I definitely played Papercraft Decoy more than I did in draft ever. What about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this was my first Arena Direct or Arena Open where I was strictly two color in every single trophy I had. And then I was looking at my 17 lands data, and I went 2-2 with a four color deck, 2-2 with a three color deck, and 1-2 with a three color deck, which were pretty close to all my worst runs.
Mhm.
All of like all of which were multicolor. So I don't know, it was really interesting. I think like for the most part, I felt like my trophy deck sort of built themselves, but
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I mean, it was just really surprising to feel like you had to play two colors. The fixing was pretty bad. I guess there was no dual lands, but I did feel like you
Well,
could you could
there
trophy with any color combination.
there were actually the game lands in the format, but um,
Oh, there were the dual lands. Never
yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah. But no, yeah. I mean, I have the same experience. Like, I have a 4-2 and a 1-2. Like, I was trying to splash for Reality Chip and Kyodai, the indestructible Giving
Hmm.
Dragon, and yeah, it just
Yeah.
did not work out. And I think in obviously in Seal, like you're really pushed towards like splashing just to have a certain power level generally. And I think in the previous directs we've always pretty much done that pretty frequently.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Something about this Neon Dynasty format just really wanted cohesive two color decks. It felt like.
Yeah, I'm looking at my four color deck that went 2-2, and it was base green black. I had two Cameo of Terrible Secrets, which I was really trying to maximize. So I splashed red and white. Red for Lizard Blades and Sekenzan,
Mm,
and white for Michiko's Reign of Truth and Touch the Spirit Realm.
mm,
Um, Splashing off an Uncharted Haven, a Plains, Sekenzan, and then I had a Grafted Growth and two Network Terminals. And playing this deck felt decent. But I don't know. It was just a little too dirtily. I think I decked myself one game.
really?
Um, yeah, just I feel like all
Yeah.
my trophy decks were just much more proactive. You know,
Mm-hmm.
play a two drop, play a three drop, kill your thing. I don't know, just be more streamlined than the opponent. This one was trying to
Yeah.
do too much, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes sense.
Okay, so what have your trophy decks looked like in Avatar so far?
Let's go through them. So this is my first trophy here. Just blue black, and I'm splashing green for the bounty hunters, which I felt like has been really really strong. Um, so four court officials here, and lots of ways to sack them with like the bounty hunter precision, just usual black
Mm.
sacrifice stuff. Really good for water bending as well. Um,
Yeah.
I think something that might be surprising are like these like kind of clunky, expensive creatures like the Foggy Swamp Hunters and the Canyon Crawler and the Koi. But
Hmm.
I've been really liking them in this format, just as like I think it's really nice to just have like a good 4 drop on 4 and just or I guess just even a mediocre 4
Good,
drop on
good four drop
yeah,
stretch, but
yeah, yeah. But just
that's funny because I've loved Giant Koi in almost all of my decks.
yeah.
I think like having just a card that just wins the game is pretty good. Like you play it on
Mhm.
turn 6 and waterbend it twice, and a lot of the time that just wins.
Yeah, yeah. No, I completely agree. I think a lot of my trophies here probably have Koi.
Yeah,
What else I like about it is like it feels really strong if you can get it with what's the hexproof spell? Sorry, what's the name?
I mean it's
The one mana hexproof spell.
octopus something.
Yeah, octopus form.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to interact with, right? And you just kind of play through the removal and just kill them. The creatures don't matter. Um,
Mhm.
this felt really strong to me.
I feel like
Um,
some other cards that stand out to me here are like Iguana Parrot and the Otter Penguin.
yeah.
What was your thinking with those two?
The iguana parrot again. I guess like I just wanted a 3. Just something kind of impactful on the board. I guess. Otter penguin. mm, I guess I probably just didn't have anything better. Actually, maybe I would have played Merchant of Many Hats
Like a
over it.
merchant? Yeah, I
Yeah,
probably would have mentioned.
yeah. I mean, this was a trophy pretty early on into the format. It might have been like the first day, but
Hmm.
um,
Like I see, I mean, not a whole lot of ways to draw cards, maybe 4 or 5.
mm, yeah, a
I know
little.
people have liked Otter Penguin, especially in blue red.
Oh, really? Oh, with the you young
Yeah, and the blue red
archers.
aggressive cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good with the archers. Um, good with the discard draw to instant.
Oh, yeah. That's
Uh,
true. That's true.
You're just drawing more cards in that deck.
Mhm.
Okay, what
Um,
else do you have? Or do you have any other thoughts on that deck?
yeah, I mean, just closing thoughts. Like, these are like the dual lands at common. They've been really impressive for me. Just they feel pretty impactful to draw a card, and I guess that might be part of it. I guess that works with Otter Penguin, right? It's second
Yeah,
to deal
yeah,
3. Yeah, yeah. Now I remember. Remember.
yeah. I mean, I told you this, but I had a deck where I had 5, and I sacked all 5 of them in the same game, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
I probably don't win that game if I don't draw 5 more cards.
Mhm. Yeah, I will say I think evasion here in this format feels pretty important. Outer
Hmm.
Penguin, Parrot, Koi, just because like I
Yeah,
think the most played common right now is the 1/3 Fortune Teller, which really gums up the board pretty easily.
yep,
Um,
for sure.
so I don't know. I guess that's kind of like why I like these evasive cards. Right.
Do you find yourself jumping with the burglar rats at all, or no?
Um, I haven't played with the card all too much. I've been mostly out of black, but
Mhm.
not not particularly. Probably
Yeah.
less than in other formats. Do you have any?
Okay.
Why do you ask?
I was just thinking, like, if you're playing a koi, like being able to just have 1/1s to keep your life total high while you just kill them with the koi is I don't know,
Yeah, for sure.
interesting to me.
Mhm.
I know I liked the 1/1 menace that dies into a clue as just I don't know, sort of a pseudo revitalize.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you want to talk about your first
But this
trophy
deck, well,
with the Callous Inspector?
this segues perfectly.
Yeah.
Um, so this was my first trophy deck, and um, I sort of took a chance on Bender's Waterskin, and I'm very glad I did because I think it's one of the most underrated cards in the format.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think just been really impressive for me with particularly Lost Days and Firebending Lesson. Um, kind of building your deck, you want to have a ton of instants, obviously, because it untaps itself.
Mhm.
So cards like Quench,
Right.
Octopus Form are really good. Like the idea is sort of you play the Waterskin on turn 3, and hopefully you have some 1 drop that you can play right away off of it. I mean, you'll notice that I have 7 1 drops in this deck.
Yeah.
Additionally, then you untap on turn 5, you can play a Lost Days, and then untap and have another 1 drop that would be like a Firebending Lesson or an Octopus Form or
Well,
um,
yeah. Well, you can do that even on
whatever.
turn 4, right? Because you ramp into it.
Sure, turn 4, you can play a Waterbending Lesson and then untap and hold up Quench.
Well,
You can play,
you can play
oh, sorry,
Lost.
what do you say?
Sorry, you can play
Oh,
Lost
yeah,
Days
turn 4.
before.
Sorry,
Yeah.
did I say turn 5? Yeah, turn 4. I meant
Yeah.
turn 4 Lost Days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then just like a lot of these decks have just cards that make clues, and being able to crack a clue for essentially 1 because of the Waterskin has been extremely impressive for me.
Mhm.
Um,
For
I
sure.
would have loved to have a Koi in this deck, but I mostly ended up winning with either Guru Pathic, which I mean, when you have I don't know how many lessons I have in here, one,
Mm,
2, 3, 4, 7 lessons. That's even
yeah.
low, I think, most of my decks. But Durupathic, just put a ton of counters on Callus Inspector or Grand Gran or a Court Official, or even just attack with a Canyon Crawler twice.
Mm. Yeah,
I think like
they'll win games for
oh, go ahead,
sure.
sir.
Yeah, they'll win games
Yeah,
for sure.
we'll do it. My takeaways for this type of deck have been sort of you want 2 to 3 2 drops and pretty passive, like cards that maybe get some value when they enter, like the Court Official, like the Platypus Bear.
Mm.
Paku is in this deck. I don't love Paku. I would probably rather play just a second Court Official, but
Sure.
you don't want to be 2 drop heavy, and then you just really want to have a high density of, like I said, instants and cards that replace themselves, like Waterbending Lesson and Lost Days. Like I would play 4 Lost Days in this deck, I think.
Mm.
You're
Yeah.
just like with the Water Skin, you have way more mana than you really think you do.
Mm.
Um, and I guess I would also want to touch on Watery Grasp, which has been super good for me. I think 1 or even 2 is extremely rewarding, especially when you have enough card draw to support it. Tapping down a Earthbended Land is,
Yeah.
pseudo 1 mana Stone Rain.
Mm.
You can play it for 6 and just shuffle something and get in. Like I don't know how that card's been for you, but it's been really impressive for me.
Yeah, it's been same here, same here. It also looks really nice in this deck with so many one drops. Just to kind of pay for the water bending cost, and also the water skin seems really nice with water bending as well. Just because
Yeah.
it's instant speed. Um,
hmm
yeah, no, this I mean it's kind of reminiscent of like Convoke in March of the Machine if you played that. Where like
Yeah.
one drops are just so important for the Convoke decks, and I think that's similar thing happens here with Waterbend. Um, was there any? Looks like you weren't playing Callus Inspector here, number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
I
just
think at some point it sort of,
yeah, yeah.
dilutes your deck if you play too many.
Mm,
So I liked having 2 though, but I was chumping with them almost every game.
yeah.
But they also, I mean, they get in for like 3 or 4 damage
Mm,
most games that you have them on turn 1. I would also
yeah.
say, notably, Gran has been phenomenal for me. I don't know about you, but that card has been. I mean, I'm happy to first pick that,
Yeah, I mean
and I
when I
might take the sealed too.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean when I first read this card, it just seemed kind of insane to me. But it's obviously really good with waterbending and just it's such a good one drop and
Mhm.
it's great. Would you want more quenches for this deck? I know you mentioned wanting another court official, but I felt like I really like these and
Yeah,
like these slower.
I'd definitely rather have like I think Paku is pretty clearly my worst 2 drop here, but
Yeah.
I'd definitely rather have a second quench than a second court official.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Just, I mean, the instance and quench with water is really impressive.
Mm, all right. Um,
All right, let's see your second deck.
sure, sure, sure.
Oh wow, triple invasion submersible. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, this was not as early as the first deck, but this was still pretty early on when people don't
Mhm.
understand the power of the submersible. So this was mono blue. I mean, I guess just blue was just super open. Let me see. One thing I really liked about this deck was the battle fans. It's 2 permanents
Mhm.
for waterbending.
Mhm.
Like the Water Spirit, North Pole Patrol, which I love, but I know Felix is a bit lower on. Um,
Hate North Pole Patrol.
and here's the giant koi that we were talking about a lot.
Mhm.
It just felt like in one of my games, it was just like it's the way it's my win con, I guess. Just play it and
Yeah.
then hold protect it with the octopus form and just put them on a 4 turn clock, right?
Mhm.
I think another thing that was kind of nice is like you can play Battle Fan on 2 and Submersible on 3, and you can Waterbend 3 on that same turn 3 because you have
Yeah.
Battle Fan, the token, and the Submersible itself, and that was felt like a really strong curve out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How have you
Um,
liked Rumble Arena in these? I mean, I don't know how many monocolored decks you've had, but like, do you know what's your limit on how many Rumble Arenas you're playing?
um, that's a good question. I mean, this deck doesn't really have any intense mana costs. Like I know there's the double blue red hybrid card, the
Mhm.
anthropologist. That
The looter,
yeah, the looter
the rummager.
exactly. Yeah, rummager. That would definitely factor in. But and if you also had like a ton of one drops, that would definitely factor in. But here, I think just pretty much as many as you can draft because um, I mean, Guru Pathic is probably the most color intensive card here. Maybe Wan
Yeah.
Chitong, but
You
um,
go Durapathic and find an octopus form, it could be
mhm. Oh yeah, for
maybe.
sure. Yeah, for sure, for sure. But the upside is like pretty high, and like we still have 15 blue sources here with the koi, so it's
Yeah.
like a pretty nice incentive for going monocolored. It's the just
Hmm.
the scry one.
Yeah.
Right.
What are your thoughts on the haiku?
I'm still debating about it. It definitely feels weaker than the counterspell in Spider-Man in last set, but um,
Hmm.
it's been okay. I like it here because we have like Lost Days as a way to like spend our 5 mana if they don't cast a meaningful spell. Other like
Hmm.
instant speed stuff like Tylee, abandoned attachments, quenches, you know. But
Yeah.
it's been okay.
Okay.
It's been okay. I think you need a specific deck for it, but it's been fine. All right.
Makes
So,
sense.
would you like to talk about your second trophy here?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, this one, yeah, my blue red. This is this is the
Oh.
five Sackland, the infamous five Sackland deck.
Mhm.
No, I love this deck. It played really smoothly, I think. I mean, obviously, what probably jumps out to you is the what 12 2-drop or
Yeah.
two mana spells I have in this deck. But
Yeah.
I think similar to you, I really liked Yuyan Archers. It's discard a land, discard a spell, whatever you need on turn two, and then just a 3/1 body hits really hard.
Mhm.
Um, worked
Yeah.
well with just removal on turn three. I had it, double combustion technique, demonstration, lightning strike,
Mhm.
submersible. I mean, a lot of the time I was dealing, 6 to 9 damage with the Union Archers every game.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, this deck was just smooth, felt a
Yeah.
lot like the Ikoria cycling decks in some senses.
I see.
Like abandon attachments, discard, draw two. Like you just don't really run out of cards with the waterbending lesson. Double attachments, Suka, Lost Days, and then once again, like having like this idea of a win con in the deck was really important.
Mhm.
Um, that was, obviously Ren and Shaw, obviously Giant Koi, but also Dragonfly Swarm, just became a 7/3 and I don't know, hard to kill.
Yeah. Yeah. When I first drafted this format in the beginning, like I had this green blue deck, which didn't really have any win cons, and it also milled myself a bunch. So I drew through my whole deck because I had the draw three, but I just couldn't close out the game, and I feel like that's kind of why like Giant Koi or you know if you're so lucky to get like a rare like Iroh, the
Mhm.
three color Iroh, like you need to be like digging for something. You either need to like beat down or like
Yeah,
actually
you
have
have to
some.
have something that will win you the game.
Yeah, if you're running cards like abandoned attachments or the draw three.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely agree.
Mhm.
Grand Ren in here, of course, was phenomenal. I
Yep.
don't know how many lessons I had. Two, let's say two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, yeah, nine.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Grand has just been amazing for me.
Yeah. Do you think you would have splashed only sold out if you didn't have the Swamp Spirit Keeper? It seems pretty. I guess you have four dual lands here. It seems pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean the splash felt pretty free. I
Yeah,
think
for
I would
sure.
rather splash sold out than the 5D Swamp Spirit
Yeah, yeah.
keeper.
I would agree.
Um, I don't know. There's not
Mhm.
a whole lot of draw in here. Sold out, just a universal removal spell. A lot of my red removal is damage based, so
Mhm.
it was nice if they play like the 6 mana 7/7 just
Yeah.
sold out instead of, if I don't have like a Lost Days or a Watery Grasp.
Mhm. Oh, it's interesting. You're only running one Watery Grasp in this deck.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
guess
I
you
think
don't.
similar.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Brad. I was just saying like similar to my last trophy, like um where I didn't play the third Talus Inspector. At some point, playing these one drops sort of dilutes your deck, and you run out of mana to spend,
Mhm.
or just run out of. You don't need more and more efficiency. My removal is already really really impressive in this deck, so
Yeah.
I think it was just the first card I needed to try.
Yeah, and it looks like we also just don't have a ton of permanents for water bending. I mean, obviously with Grand
Mhm.
Credit's great, but maybe I guess the Swamp Keeper makes tokens, but it's definitely a little bit
Yeah,
more awkward than the previous trophy of yours that we saw. All right,
for sure.
all right, looks great.
Brandon Shaw is quite the card, I'll tell you.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, what do you have? Oh wait, no, this is my deck. Sorry,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Red and Shaw has been
this deck. Yeah.
just a house. If you obviously if you get it down, it's just so hard to beat the
Mhm.
two dragons. So this is my third trophy. This one is feels pretty similar to the mono blue deck in some ways. Like again, you'll see like the battle fan into submersible, which I think is so strong. Lots of rares, but I felt like everything here was pretty cohesive.
Mhm.
So maybe notably is the most notable card here is the Vindictive Wardens. I just feel like
Yeah,
attacking with this on turn 4 and casting Fire Nation attacks is really strong. And I also have like Wenchi Tong as a way to actually spend the Firebending mana, and it's also really strong with the Fated Firepower. So
yeah.
it also Fated Firepower works well as a combat trick here, but it also increases the amount of damage the ping will do. So that was a way that I won a lot of games as well.
A 3 minute bolt them. That's
Mhm.
not bad.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I also like the battle fans because they're non-creatures, but they also kind of pressure the opponent. So I have
Mhm.
some prowess creatures and the mechanist, which wants non-creatures. But overall, one thing I really wanted in this deck was some proactive, aggressive two drops. So I was like pretty much looking for that entire draft. The Yuyan Archers and the battle fans I think are really nice combined with the tempo cards of like Ty Lee and the Invasion Submersible, and also the cheap
Uh-huh.
removal in the Firebending Lessons.
Yeah. Would
One
you
of
have like?
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, I was just saying, would you have liked Lost Days in the stack, or do you think that's wouldn't fit?
So I don't. I think it would have been fine, but I feel like this one wanted to be a bit leaner. Because
Okay.
once we cast Lost Days, I feel like we don't get a ton of value out of the clue because I mean, we've got like Winshi Tong, but eventually we kind of run out of I don't know gas.
Yeah.
I'd rather be like just kind of beating them down with the archers and the battle fan. Like I think
Mhm.
it would definitely fit here, but um, I think I'd want like maybe firebending lesson more, just like more cheap removal, cheap interaction, more
Yeah.
than like
Yeah.
lightning strike or instead of lost days because we're not really going
Mhm.
that big, I guess.
And did
Um,
you end up winning any games with Secret Tunnel here?
oh yeah, I did. No, this card has been this card is obviously really good with Cave of Two Lovers. So it's suitable with that. But you can also earthbend 3 counters on the tunnel. Super strong
Oh yeah. Oh,
and make it
wow. I didn't even
unblockable.
think about
Yeah, it's like just a self-enabling combo. But
that. Yeah.
the other thing that was really impressive about this card was that with the Yuyan archers in the battle fan, so a lot of the time like I play it, but it can't really get in because they play the fortune teller or maybe corrupt court official, who knows. But
Hmm.
this is a way for them to actually get value in the late game. Just secret tunnel on archers and warden, and I hit them for 5, and suddenly my archers is actually doing something. And that
Yeah.
felt really
Or if you
strong.
have a firepower out,
Mhm. Oh yeah, for
like
sure, for sure.
yeah, right.
hmm Yeah, no, that
Or
was
May
yeah, yeah.
double strike.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Mai and Guru Pathic were maybe the like least synergistic cards here. Maybe a bit out of
Hmm.
place. I would rather have like a third fan or something. But other than
Hmm.
that, I think I felt pretty cohesive. I know you don't
Yeah.
love the haiku, but um, I have lots of flash stuff as well. Firepower,
Yeah.
Tong,
Yeah.
attacks. So yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Anything on the sideboard you have that's interesting?
Um, let me see.
Not particularly, just off first glance, right?
Right.
You didn't like the cunning maneuvers or first time flyer?
Um, I don't like the cunning maneuver with the X1 bodies, like the battle fan and the archers. It just seems unlikely
Hmm.
that they'll survive. I think it's probably better if you have just like a I don't know a 3/3 or 2/3 or whatever, and then there's probably a good chance it survives. Um,
Yeah.
First time flyer felt kind of outdated with like the low lesson count. I just felt like I wanted
Yeah.
more pressure on turn 2, and it just seemed like it would be Stormcrow a lot of the time. So
Makes sense.
yeah, yeah, that's about it. Um, would you like to talk about your third trophy here?
Sure. Yet again, double water skin. I mean, would have liked to have more lost days in this deck, but just felt really strong where just play a water skin, play a Grand, play a firebending lesson. And then, once again, sort of have the idea of like 2 or 3 like pretty clear win cons in Iroh, Giant Koi, and Guru Pathic.
Mhm.
A lot of these games, with the water skin, I had probably played Iroh with 9, 10 mana, just immediately won the game testing, 2 ancestral recalls with the waterbending lessons and the lost days.
Mhm.
Uh, and then if somehow that didn't do it, the giant koi usually got in and finished the job.
Yeah.
This deck was also though pretty aggressive. You've got double archers, the flyer. So it could get some early damage pretty quick.
Mhm.
Uh,
For sure.
yeah, any questions?
I yeah, I I think you've played Airbending Lesson a lot more than I have, and I'm still trying to
Mhm.
evaluate it. What was
Yeah.
the use case in this deck? Do you use it as like protection, or do you play it on turn three to get rid of their token, or is it something you cast like much later in the game, or is it just kind of a mixture of all those? Do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I don't think I've ever cast an airbending lesson on one of my creatures.
I see.
But and I would say it's definitely, less of a tempo card in this deck, even though I do have like the archers.
Hmm.
Um, it's a, turn five, I mean, it's just another card that's really good with Waterskin, where you untap and you can play an airbending lesson for two, or you play it on your main phase and untap and have a quench up.
Hmm.
Um, but I would say definitely a later game card. Kind of, I
Yeah.
would treat it kind of like a cheaper Lost Days.
Hmm. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it gave me an excuse to play two tap lands that
Hmm.
I could sack for a card later.
Yeah.
I didn't have to play planes, so it was, for the most part, pretty free.
Hmm.
It's a lesson I can get off Pathic, and then it's also just really nice to have, um, more expensive lessons with Iroh, where casting a firebending
Hmm.
lesson from your graveyard is good, but casting an airbending lesson for one mana is much better. So
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I've played with Aro a lot, and I think probably the best combo with it is definitely Lost Days, but Airbending Lesson seems really, really nice too. Um,
yeah.
Definitely agree. Let's take a look at your sideboard here. Anything interesting here? Oh, you have three Rebel Arenas. How have you felt about that card? You're not playing, looks like any in this deck?
Mm, I don't know. I don't think. I mean, I have a lot of, pretty mana intensive cards. No earthbending in this
Hmm.
deck.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Rumble Arena shines when you have a couple, like you're in probably ideally in a two-color deck, maybe
Hmm.
three colors with good mana. You've got one or two on-color tap lands, and you're earthbending. Like I like the idea of, vigilance, and then when it dies, you get to scry again.
For
Like,
sure.
um, but other than that, I'm not a huge fan.
Makes sense, makes sense. All right.
All right, on to your last trophy, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, okay, so this one is
oh,
my current,
you're 62, of
yes, my current deck in progress, soon to be trophy by the time this recording comes
course.
out, for sure, for sure. No, I wanted to include this because I really like this deck a lot, and I think it's also pretty informative for sealed as well.
Hmm.
So I guess like a lot of our trophies, like I think Yu Yan Archers is like a pretty key component of this deck, just as a 3/1. Interestingly in this deck, I kind of opted to not discard a good amount of the time because we
Mm,
both needed I needed lands and spells as well. Sometimes I discard these expensive cards, but um, if I have two more lands, I really want to cast a 4 drop on for sure.
uh-huh.
Sometimes I discard another 2 drop or removal, but
Mhm.
I think that was pretty interesting. I think one thing that stands out to me is the Cave of Two Lovers. When I got two of these, one thing I noted was like I need some way to like take advantage of like the mountain at tutors because if my curve stops at 4, like what am I doing with this extra mountain, right? That's why I kind of
Mhm.
wanted to build like a bigger red white deck with these kind of mediocre, maybe bad 5 and 6 drops, but
Yeah.
they do feel strong on turn 5, and um, I've talked about this before, but like you play a 2 drop, a 3 drop, a 4 drop, and they use removal on it, then they don't have removal for your 5 and 6 drops, right? And
Yeah.
these feel like all the cards that kind of demand removal across the curve.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
yeah, and this is definitely a
War Time
good,
Protesters even on turn four, like they have to deal that, right?
yeah, for sure, exactly, exactly. Um, yeah, this was also really strong with the Saga, which makes two allies for sure, and
Mhm.
Aang, which is an ally. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the deck wanted maybe like one more aggressive 2 drop instead of maybe Path of Redemption, but other than
Mhm.
that, I think this deck is really nice, and it's been great so far.
Yeah. Okay. Anything in the sideboard?
Let's take a look. So there are 2 drops here, but I don't think they fit the deck. Just not enough non creatures. Um, you might be surprised by the cadets here, but only 2 lessons. Anything stand out to you?
Is there any consideration to go like lean more white, and play like a Kyoshi Warriors and they gather the White Lotus with more planes?
So that's where I was initially. I was trying to draft mono white because I got this gather pretty early. I think the draft was pick one Aang, pick two Aang, and then pick three gather or something. But uh,
Okay.
yeah, it didn't come together. But
Okay.
I could definitely see that though. But I think the turning point was the Yu Archers. I got a lot of Yu Archers,
Yeah.
and it felt like I needed to play them just to be kind of aggressive because um, I don't really have any white 2 drops that are aggressive here.
Yeah. It's hard. hard to play a card that wants you to have a ton of planes when all your 2 drops are red.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
I mean, it would be interesting, wartime protesters into either the White Lotus or
Oh, you're right.
even
Yeah.
with Suki, right? Like you've got some
Mm.
synergy there for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hmm. I didn't even think about that. I guess they are
Yeah.
allies. Yeah, that is pretty nice. I felt like I didn't. There's a lot of synergy with the protesters, but I feel like I didn't want to lean into it too much because we probably expect it to get removed, and I only have one
Yeah,
copy.
4/4 haste is
Yeah,
pretty demanding of removal.
yeah. So there are a lot of synergies with wartime protesters if it lives anyway. Just
Mhm.
kids, Aang, and two lovers. That was pretty game winning on it by itself. So
Yeah.
I felt like maybe this
One
was good.
last note I would say is just like feels like your deck is really well set up to on turn 3 either play an archers or play glider kids and find the 4th land or the really good 4 drop.
Hmm.
Um, I
Yeah,
don't know if that came up, but like just feels like a lot of the time you set yourself up really well with this deck to have a really strong foreplay because you'll find your 4th land or you'll find your strong 4 drop.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I basically these were just um ways to like make sure I get to 4, and then once I get to 4, I get my mountain, and then I'm set up for the rest of the game. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. One thing I also liked about this deck is that it felt like it never ran out of things to do. Just between
Yeah.
the rummaging and the scrying, and also just expensive cards.
Mhm.
Even like just activating Path to Redemption, which
Sure.
you don't usually find in like your aggressive decks that often. But um, that's what I really liked about it is I guess just play to the board, and then just never run out of stuff to do, and it just felt kind of
Yeah.
unbeatable. Anyway, all right, let's go
All
to
right, last
your final
one.
deck. Yeah, let's see.
Now, fake trophy here, only 6-3, but
What?
was 6-1 and got robbed of the trophy, I'll tell
Oh,
you.
I see, I see.
But you'll notice that, we're slowly putting more and more water skins into the deck.
Slowly is.
Four here. And I mean, they were really good.
Mhm.
I think like once again, I don't have a whole lot to say about this deck because it's follows the same sort of path as the other 3, where you just having a high density of lost days and waterbending lessons, and then also really cheap cards like firebending lesson, boomerang basics, watery grasp, is what makes Waterskin really good.
Mhm.
Quench is fantastic with it. This one had Aang, so untap Waterskin and have Aang up was
Mm,
strong too.
for sure.
Um, and then just the 3 win cons, I think. This one had more like 4 with the Koi, the Boomy, Toph, and Aang. But
Yeah. Mm.
I mean, yeah,
I
this deck felt really great.
No, it looks really nice. I noticed that in this deck and the previous deck, you've been playing Flexible Waterbender. I've liked this card too, but I'm not sure if you have any specific thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean,
Seems.
I like 2/5 bodies, I think.
Mhm.
Um, Vigilance is really nice. I don't know, you play it and it is, I mean, playing Waterston into it and then hold up like Quench or Firebending Lesson is really strong.
I
So
see, for sure.
it's been, I don't know, it's been a overperformer for me. I wouldn't say I seek it out, but if you can get a Waterbender, pick 11, pick 12, like I'd much rather play it than a bad 2 drop or a, bad 3 drop.
Yeah, I would agree. It's also kind of overperformed for me as well. Just nice to have like a 4 that just like kind of stabilizes the ground as well.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that looks nice. Let's see. And also, I like the mostly monocolored deck mana base here, and then we get to play the
Yeah.
arena for scrying as well. The water skin seems really nice. Were you
Yeah, the mana
concerned?
was really good in this deck.
Yeah, were you concerned about being able to turn to herbalist here? Seems
I
like.
was. I was originally playing 1 mountain and 5 forests, and then I switched to 3 mountains and 3 forests. Yeah, if you go to deck 1, yeah, you'll
Yeah.
see.
Mhm.
Um, it felt like having access to firebending lesson early was more important than just the herbalist, because obviously the platypus bear you can play with blue. So
Right.
I also think the herbalist with a deck with 3 lost days and haiku, playing it a little bit later, it's still going to be really good.
Yeah.
Two sack lands, like this deck never ran out of things to do with its mana. So
Mhm. For sure.
yeah,
Uh,
plus it's pretty. Do you have any thoughts on the like what cards might be better in sealed versus what cards are good in Premier Draft right now?
yeah. So I actually looked at the sealed data right now versus Premier Draft data. It's a little weird because there you do get one seeded pack in sealed, I believe, but I think there are some interesting things worth talking about, or at least as a jumping off point. Overall, the win rates for red decks are much, much worse than Premier Draft, with the only exception of red white. Um, but that also means green white is the biggest winner right now, which I think makes sense. Like this is usually generally true. White tends to do pretty well in sealed. White has the most creatures in pretty much every set at common. Usually his
Mhm.
stats and combat matter more in sealed, and white does pretty well with that with like the one mana combat trick or whatever. And just like pacifism here in this set feels really strong in sealed. One thing that stood out to me was also waterbending lesson. White is doing pretty well in sealed, but waterbending lesson is much worse. So my theory is like it doesn't affect the board when the board matters more in this sealed format. And there's also less synergy in sealed, so you're not really digging towards anything specific usually with waterbending lesson unless you build pretty deliberately. Um, I think creature-based beatdown could also be pretty strong in this format. Zhang Zhang's Deserters and Avatar Enthusiasts are showing some promise in the stats. Mm.
Yeah.
And also, like just big dumb creatures like Appa and Giant Core perform better in the slower format of Sealed, so which makes sense. All right, what do you think?
I bet. Yeah, I was waterbending lesson is interesting to me too because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but waterbending lesson is performing worst in blue white compared to the other blue X decks. Is that right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
So I
is
think like what I found in my blue white decks or playing against blue white is a lot of the creatures come with card advantage, like the Water Tribe Scout, the I want to say Storyteller. It's the 1/3, whatever the big
oh
1/3 in blue.
the Fortune
What's it
Teller,
called?
the Fortune
Fortune
Teller.
Telling Storyteller. Like so many of the white and blue creatures replace themselves. Like the one
Mm,
two hawk. That a
yeah,
card like Waterbending Lesson doesn't do as much because you, like you said, you're not really digging towards anything, and you're also not running out of things to do.
right.
Um, I think if you're gonna play Waterbending Lesson in sealed, I'd want to have something like Iroh, um, something really impressive that's going to ideally win the game once you find it and once you cast it.
Yeah,
Um,
for
yeah,
sure. Yeah, I agree for sure. I feel like my white blue decks kind of lean towards more aggressive as well, with the lower curves. And like I feel like waterbending lesson isn't as impressive if you're just drawing just random two drops as opposed to like kind of impactful expensive cards like Iroh, like you mentioned, or you're going bigger like Lost Days, cards like that, which
yeah,
doesn't really fit White Blue's game plan most of the time, at least in my experience. So
yeah. What's interesting is I've also looked at like the whites two drops as far as like what I think like a white seal deck will look like. And I think the white 1/2 that puts a counter is going to be substantially better than um what is it, compassionate? Not compassionate healer, is it?
no, that's Zhang Zhang's Deserters, which is showing some promise in the data right now.
Yes, Chandra Deserters, but what's the name of the 2/2?
Oh, that is
Um
Compassionate Healer, yeah.
yes, compassionate healers. Just sort of looking at the cards, there's only really Yip Yip that can modify compassionate healers to be something that attacks better in the late game.
Hmm.
Um, Additionally, you said the 1/3 storyteller has, you know, the most cast common in the set. So
Yeah.
if you're playing a 2/2 into a 1/3, like it's not as strong.
Hmm.
Um, but I really like Glider Kids and Kyoshi Warriors for sealed. I think with the ally synergies, Kyoshi Warriors is going to be a good body that also has potentially some upside depending on how much ally upside is in your deck.
Hmm.
Um, Glider Kids, just as like flyers have impressed me in sealed.
For sure.
And really only when they have decent stats and getting 5 power and toughness worth of stats for 3 mana that also scries with flying seems really strong.
Hmm.
Um, I'm wondering what you think like the strongest color pairs are going to be for sealed.
Oh yeah, I think green white does seem nice. It just kind of I think white in general probably
Yeah.
seems pretty strong right now. Um, Again, just all the creatures, the glider kits. I also agree with seems really impactful here. One thing I think might be better is black. So
Hmm.
kind of unimpressive right now in Premier Draft, but I think just playing like a Corrupt Court official against like a clunky seal deck seems pretty strong. The card advantage from Callous Inspector will come up more, and you probably dirtle around more with all the sacrifice, grind synergies, and you have time to activate like the Judy and just kind of go off with
Yeah.
that, recur the Merchant of Many Hats, all that stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm having my
Judy and is it Juno? June?
oh yes, June, that one too.
June, yeah. I
Hmm.
think both will probably be stronger in sealed.
Yeah, for sure. What about you? Any colors that you're have your eye on?
I mean, yeah, I think it's just going to be it's going to be really hard to find a strong red deck.
Hmm.
you're not gonna have as many lessons or as smooth of a deck for cadets.
Right.
I think the creatures are worse, I
Mhm.
would just argue that like, like what's a, you know, red 2 minute 2/2 gonna do against, Fortune Teller into Glider Kids? Like, I don't know, you're down on cards, you're down on board. Seems way less impressive than what White is doing.
For sure.
But I also think what's interesting is there's a lot of decent fixing in the set, obviously with the common dual lands, and then you have barrels, which a lot of people are really high on barrels for Premier Draft. I haven't liked it at all, but
Mhm.
I think it has potentially a home and sealed. You have Waterskin and then you have Aang's Journey, and I think in general you're probably going to be wanting to lean towards barrels. It's a removal spell, um, fixes pretty well. Waterskin is it's less likely that you'll have 10 instants and 3 lost days and 2 firebending lessons to really maximize it. And then
Mhm.
Aang's Journey, I think, has just been pretty unimpressive for me. So I don't know about you, but I expect there to be some decent teamer or maybe even Jund multicolor decks with barrels where you can get the most out of red by splashing the good cards
Mhm.
like firebending less. Um, but I don't ever see a base red deck being really that strong.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think this has been pretty consistent with all the Arena Direct Sealed events that we've done previously. Like, I don't know what it is exactly, but Red tends to just not have enough really good cards of common to really have a workable deck. I mean, if you look at this set, like there are a lot of stinkers like Porcupine, like Boomy Bash, and just many others like Deserter's Disciple. And it's just Red
The
just
creatures are
typically.
just
What was that?
the creatures are just worse, I think, in general.
Yeah, for sure. And White, I think in my experience has been pretty good in most sets thus far. Um, Waterskin and Aang's Journey. So Aang's Journey is interesting. I really like it as like just because it's a lesson for like first time flyer and all the other lesson synergies. But
Mhm.
Sealed is probably hard to assemble those kind of really lesson heavy decks with lots of lesson synergies too. So I think I would agree. Yeah, I do think barrels might have a home in Sealed where you kind of want to, or a lot of the time you're going to be playing like just a 2 drop, a 3 drop, which kind of conflicts with Waterskin and Aang's Journey, which are also things you want to do on turn 2 and 3. But the barrels
Mhm.
doesn't really get in the way of anything, I guess, if you're curving out at least, and it gives you something to do on turn 5. So
Mhm. And turn one.
mhm. Yeah, and it does seem like there are cards worth splashing for, like the Firebending Lesson, like you mentioned, but also like Lost Days, and also the 4 mana Black Hill spell sold
Sold
out.
out.
Yeah, that we saw earlier from you in one of your decks. So.
Mhm. I also think that often overlooked, and as someone who's built a lot of multicolored decks, is there's a real cost to putting basic lands that are not um, your base 2 colors in your deck. So something
Mhm.
like Aang's Journey, you have to put a mountain or whatever in your deck.
Yeah,
That's a card that can get milled with the Ostrich Horse, can get milled with the 2/3.
the Platypus Bear.
It,
Yeah,
out of despair, exactly. Like having a basic in your deck is not only cost because of that, like you can lose it and then your Aang's Journey does, far less for you.
Mhm.
But also, if you draw that mountain, it makes your curve out worse. You have one less source of a main color in your deck. So,
For sure.
in general, when splashing, there's massive upside to staying within the tap lands and then other colorless or likely green cards that will fix without having to go to the basic.
For sure. For sure. Speaking about the top lands, I think they probably will be better in sealed because you have the time to actually crack them potentially. There are
Mhm.
also like a lot of little synergies. Like there's, I know white black is a sacrifice deck, right? That might shine more. Grinding matters more. So I don't know. It does seem like there are reasonable payoffs to splash for sure and enablers that are decent. So all right. So, um, all right. To close, I've heard there's a certain little controversy on Twitter at the moment. Certain Arid
Mhm.
Mesa versus Black Lotus. Do you have?
Really, really.
Yes, yes. Do you have
I
a
think
take
I
on
know.
it? Do you have a take on it?
A take? Mm, probably a little bit in the middle. I think people are maybe being a little strong on Defour.
Mhm.
Does Defour want to rage bait? Potentially also true,
As he does, yeah.
as he does.
Mhm.
Um, I would say as far as like the pick goes, I think it's a little crazy to take Arid Mesa. I don't know what pack it's in or what pick it is, but I'm pretty sure it's Pack 2, and I feel like that leaves you enough time to find some cards that maybe play okay with Black Lotus. So me
For sure.
personally, I'm taking Black Lotus, but I don't know about you.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely just, slam the Lotus. I can kind of understand like the point he's getting at, like, like there are definitely cards that are always maybe slightly overrated and are not like maybe the best fits for a certain deck. Like if it was pack 3, 14th pick, you have no 3 or 4 drops, I could get it, but
Yeah,
pack 2, like come on, like you're gonna get Lelia or something like that or Glorybringer.
exactly.
So like that's just insane. But yeah. All
I
right.
think it plays at the, sorry.
No, no, go ahead.
I think it does definitely. There's something to be said about the Power Nine and the sort of, oh, you open Power Nine, you take it immediately. Like
Hmm.
I think there's an argument that you take Broadside Bombardiers over some Mox and pick one, pack one, but
Yeah.
in this case, I think Lotus is hard to go wrong with Lotus.
Hmm. For sure, for sure.
All
Yeah.
right, does that do it for episode 1 of Limited Thoughts?
I believe so.
Okay.
Join us next week when we'll talk about our retrospective for the Arena Direct and I think an Arena qualifier this month, or sorry, in
Yeah.
December. So get excited for that. All right. Until next time.
Well, one last
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
you can follow us on Twitter, and we'll post our trophy decks if you're interested. Also,
Yeah.
our Twitter is basically just trophy decks from Arena Direct, Arena Open, qualifier weekend. So
Yeah.
I'm at Necklace Zero, and Eugene is at Former Squid.
Yep. Check the description. Follow us there. All right. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.